Hello, fourth grade Pasco County scholars. My name is Mrs. Day, and I am the math coach over at James Marl Elementary School. Today, I get the pleasure of facilitating you through Module 7, Lesson 12. In the last few lessons, you guys have been working with conversions of numbers, adding and subtracting and converting from ounces and pounds, inches and feet, yards and feet. Today, we are going to be able to convert mixed number measurements to smaller units. We're just going to take it a step farther. Today, you're going to need the following materials. If you have your Eureka Learn book, please go ahead and retrieve it and open up to Lesson 12, Problem Set. I have posted a picture, since I don't know the actual page number, of what you should be looking for at the very top of your page. Lesson 12, Problem Set, in this grade 4 module 7. Because sometimes we have more than one module in a book, so we want to make sure we're on the right page. If you don't have it, that's okay, because I have put the problems inside of the PowerPoint where you'll be able to write them down. So with that being said, please have paper or a math journal to take notes with and to solve your problems if you don't have your Learn book. You also need a writing utensil. A pen would be preferred, but whatever you have would be great. And of course, your open mind of your mathematical brain. Please pause the video. When you're ready and have gathered all your materials for math, we will go ahead and push play and we will get started. All right, now we're ready to start our concept development, our first problem. We have a couple of things on the screen that is going to help us be successful with this problem. We have a picture of part of the reference sheet that will help us know these different conversions because we don't have to memorize them. We also have A, B, and C, which happens to be number 1 on the Lesson 12 problem set. If you have it in your book, you can refer to it. If you don't have your book, please press pause and write these 3 equations down, or these 3 expressions down, or number sentences down, in order to be ready to move on to solving them. All right, let's go ahead and solve. This first problem, I bet you guys can solve it without any issues. Are we ready? 1 yard is how many feet? Well, we know the answer to that. 1 yard equals 3 feet. Let's go ahead and draw a tape diagram in order to show that 1 yard equals 3 feet. Mrs. Day forgot to turn it into a pen, so give me a second. All right, here we go. Let's try that one more time. So pen. All right, let's try that again. A tape diagram. So let's draw a tape diagram. Mrs. Day is learning how to use some of these virtual tools, so you have to be patient. And what am I going to label this as? What did I want to know? How many feet are in 1 yard? So I'm going to make this, my hole is 1 yard. You all have told me that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So I'm going to partition my 1 yard into 3 feet. So this is 1 foot. And if this is 1 foot, how much is this one? 1 foot and 1 foot. All together, it makes the 3 feet. Now I want to look at these problems over here that I'm going to want you to solve. 1/3 yard equals blank feet. Fractions. What's 1/3 yard? Well, our tape diagram is going to help us, because looking at our tape diagram, we have noticed that we've broken up a hole into pieces. How many holes have we how many holes have we broken up? How many holes do we have? And how many pieces did we break it up into? Great. We have one hole and we have broken up into 3 pieces. If I were to shade this piece in, how many pieces am I representing? Does this shaded part represent? 1 of how many pieces were there? 3. 1/3. What was the size of that one piece? Great, 1 foot. All right, that was easy. Let's look at B. What if I have 2/3 shaded? How many feet do I have now? 2 feet. Now I have all 3 pieces shaded. I have the whole thing shaded. So I have 3/3. We know when the numerator and the denominator are the same, it equals the whole. So I have all 3 pieces shaded. So I have 3/3. And how many feet does that equal? Well, that equals all 3 feet. Great job. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit harder. Let's see what we got here. We know that we want to know how many feet are in 1 2/3 yards. This is the fraction. It looks a little bit different because we're used to having it look like this, one on top of the other, right? But that's okay. We see it like this sometimes too with our slanted line. So, how many feet are in 1 2/3 yards? Reminder, how I didn't have my picture here. How many feet are in a yard? 1 yard equals, that's right, 3 feet. Okay, I'm going to put that up there as a reminder. We want to go ahead and solve this with a tape diagram. So, ignore the vehicle that's going by. All right, let's go ahead and get back to math. How many feet are in 1 2/3 yards? I don't want to just draw 1 2/3. I want enough to draw the 1 2/3, but I'm going to need to have 2 yards in order to be able to break that apart. That's a very squiggly tape diagram. Notice I can't draw on a straight line. It's okay. I now want to break these 2 yards into 1 yard apiece. So I want to partition this in half. So now I have 1 foot here. I'm sorry, not 1 foot. I have 1 yard here and 1 yard here. Now I know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. In order for me to partition this, I'm going to do 1 yard at a time. I need to partition it into 3 feet. So I'm going to dot my lines and I'm partitioning it into 3. Because we know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. What do I have to do here? That's right. I have to partition it into 3 because this is 1 more yard. So 1 yard equals 3 feet. Do I want to know how many feet are in 2 yards? No. I want to know how many feet are in 1 2/3 yards. In order to do that, I first want to see how many, or I need to shade 1 2/3 yards. Well, I'm going to shade in this whole 1 yard. Do I need to shade in all 3 of these? No. I need to shade in 2 of the 3 pieces, so 2/3. So I'm shading in 1, 2. Perfect. All right, let's do this. 1 unit. So this 1 unit here, this 1 box, I'm going to call 1 unit. Equals how much? What's the size of this 1 unit? 1 foot. Correct. If I have 1, 2, 3 units, which is 1 yard, I have 3 feet. How many more do I have here? So I have 3 feet on this side, and these 2 here, which now equals 5 feet. So 1 2/3 yards, let me put my abbreviation and unit here, equals 5 feet. I love when tape diagrams make my life a little bit easier. All right, I want you to try one. Here we go. How many feet, and we're going to remember up here that 1 yard equals 3 feet. Let me put that there. Now let's ask the question. How many feet are in 2 2/3 yards? Well, I would like you to pause the video, and I'd like you to go ahead and solve this problem. All right, how'd you do, friends? I'm sure you did fabulous. All right, I want to draw my tape diagram, maybe a little bit straighter this time. Not too bad. Mrs. Day's got to get used to all these virtual tools now. Perfect. All right. How big is my hole? Is it 2 2/3 yards? No, I wanted to make it 3 yards because the hole of 3 is after 2 2/3. So I'm going to partition my tape diagram into yards first. Okay, so this is 1 yard. This is 1 yard, and this is 1 yard. Do I want to know how many yards I have? Well, no, I already know that. I want to know how many feet there are. So how many feet are in 1 yard? We know that that's 3. So I'm going to partition this into 3 pieces, which you probably already have done since you solved it. And I partition this in this one, 3 in this yard, and 3 in this yard. Hopefully, when you shaded today, when you answered the question, you didn't answer how many feet are in 3 yards. I want to know how many feet are in 2 2/3 yards. So I'm going to shade in my 2 feet first. There's 1 foot. Shade, 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 shade. All right, I shaded in my 2 yards. And I'm not going to shade the whole thing in. I'm only shading in 2/3. All right. I shaded in 3 feet here. Plus, I've shaded in my 3 feet here. Plus, I shaded in only 2 feet here. How many feet is that? Well, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. 8 feet. Can you write a multiplication sentence and an addition? So with a new number sentence? Well, I could say 2 times 3 feet plus 2 feet still equals 8 feet. Great job. Let your teacher know if you are having difficulties in this area with the tape diagrams, but I'm sure you all did wonderfully. Now let's look at our next problem. This problem, we are going to use cups. We're going to use some sort of liquid measurement. I want to know how many quarts are in 1 gallon. Great. How many quarts are in 1 gallon? Perfect. 4 quarts. What fraction of a gallon is filled if I only do this? So I'm going to show my gallon. Let me get it on the board here. And we said there's going to be 4. 4 what? Oh, not 4. This is 1. Sorry. 1 what? 1 quart. So So now we have 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. What fraction have I shaded in? Great. I have shaded in 1/4 gallon because this is only 1/4 of the whole thing. 1/4 gallon equals how many quarts? 1 quart. Just like we did before, right? So how much is 2/4 of a gallon? If I said I have 2/4 of a gallon, how many quarts do I have? Okay, well, I can shade in another one, right? I can say I have how many? 2. But wait a minute. I see something a little bit interesting. I see that I've not only shaded 2/4, I've shaded in what is the equivalent fraction of here? What is the equivalent fraction? I have also shaded in 1/2. So if 1/2 gallon is also going to equal what? 2 quarts. Interesting. We also need to look for not only the 2/4, but we also need to be able to identify those equivalent fractions and figure out how many are there. So let's see if we can do that with a different problem. So we're going to have to look for both things now. All right, concept problem number 3. Here we go. There it is. I'm going to say, I thought I put a picture here. So I did. I have foot in inches. So I'm going to have 1 foot. And I'm going to I want to only shade in. Oh, yellow's not going to work for us, friends. So give me 1 second. Let me change my pen color. Let's change to, what's this color? Let's try a darker color. Hold on 1 more second. Let's go with our red so we know we can see it. I want to shade in this. How much have I shaded in? I've shaded in 1/12. So 1/12 foot, because now I'm comparing it to the whole, equals what in inches? 1 inch. Okay. What if I shaded in 2/12? I'm going to move up here. 2/12 out of the whole. So the first thing we're comparing is out of the whole. So 2/12 foot is going to equal what? In inches. How many inches? 2 inches. Perfect. So we got that down pretty good, right? Let's go ahead and look here. We still have our 1 foot from here to here. We also have it partitioned into 12 inches. Okay, because we know that 1 foot equals 12 inches. I want to know how many inches 6 inches equals how many feet? Well, I'm going to shade them in. And I have 6 of them, right? All right, I've shaded in 6 inches here. Right, there it is, 6. Okay. So I could say that it's 6 twelfths of a foot. Is there another equivalent fraction that I could say? 6 inches also equals blank feet. I look here and I have 6 on this side, I have 6 on this side, so I can say it's also 1/2. Let's try one more. What if I said I wanted to know how many inches? Let me see if I have another. I do not. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and erase this piece because I want you to get practice with one more, and I'm going to let you do it. And then I'm going to see if you're right. So I'm going to erase. All right, hold on. All right. So now, this is the one I want you to do in your notebook. I want you to show how much 1/3 foot. So I'm going to go backwards right now. I'm going to now say I want 1/3 of this foot is going to be how many inches? Go ahead and pause your video and give it a try. All right, let's see if you're right. All right, now I only want to break this. This is broken up into 12, right? But I really only want it broken up into 3. I know 3 groups of something is going to equal 12. So let me think. 3 groups of 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 groups of 4. So I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to partition it again. This is my line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, here's my line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I have 3 groups, right? So we have this group. Then we have this group. And then we have, this was a really squiggly group, but we have that group, okay? And I want to know how many inches is in 1/3 of this. So here's, this one here would be 1/3. So I'm going to shade, 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 shade. How many are in that 1/3 group? How many inches? I can see that there are 4 inches. Great job. You're going to get some practice with this. It is now time for you to practice. Let's go ahead and look at the problem set that I have, 2 problems that I have assigned you for today. First one, if you have your books, they're in your books. If not, I've written them, I've taken a picture of them for you to be able to see. Oops, I forgot to add the picture of quarts and gallons, but we know that there was 1 gallon. We got some practice with it, so I'm just going to write it up here, equals 4 quarts. Perfect. I want you to do number 5F, which is this one here, and number 6C, which is this one here. Please pause the video, solve your problems, and then come back and we're going to go over them. Good luck! Well, how do you think you did? I'm sure you guys did fabulous. Let's give it a shot. I don't know how many twelfths needs to equal 2/3 feet in inches. Well, I'm going to go back to our last one over here. And I remembered that you solved 1/3 foot and it equaled 4 inches right here, see? Now I want to know 2/3. So here, I'm going to do this over here because I want to know for sure. I have 4 here and I have 4 here, so that must be 8 inches. All right, let's go back to our problem and be able to fill this out. Oop, that's going to be right. It's going to be 8 inches. But what goes here? Oh, 8/12 I can also say is 2/3, which is the equivalent fraction, which also equals the 8 inches. Great job. I hope you were able to do that. All right, let's go ahead and go to problem 6, number C. Letter C, not number, letter C. All right, 2½ gallon equals how many quarts? All right. I love me some tape diagrams because they help me so much be able to visualize. All right, so I'm going to make it 3 gallons. Ooh, like before. Oh my gosh, we've gotten practice with this. What a coincidence. All right, look in here. Awesome. So this one now equals what? 1 gallon. Correct. How many quarts were in a gallon? 4 quarts. All right, let's dot it out. Dot, dot, dot. Let's partition it. Okay, let's partition it. I partitioned 4 quarts into this gallon. I'm going to partition 4 quarts into this gallon. All right, now we have 4 quarts into that gallon. I have now partitioned this into, I did 4 quarts for this gallon. Do I want to know how many quarts are in all 3 gallons? No. All I want to know is 2½. I broke this up into 4. How am I going to figure out how that is a half? Well, I'll deal with that in a second. I'm going to shade in my 2 because I already know that. So I'm going to shade these in. Shade, shade, shade. Remember, we're not in art class, so it just can be quick shades. All right, so that's my 2 gallons. And my 2 gallons, 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. 2 gallons equals 8 quarts. Nice job. Half. Oh, let me see. I could, instead of partitioning it into 4, I can see that 2/4 is the same as 1/2. So I'm going to take my 8 quarts and I'm going to add 2 more quarts. And how many quarts do I have? 10 quarts. That's a really bad 0, Mrs. Day. All right, there it is. 10 quarts. Boop, boop. Great job. All right, so what's next? Let's go ahead and celebrate your learning for today. Let's give everybody a seal of approval. Ready? Art, 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 art. Great job, and thank you for letting me facilitate. Tomorrow's lesson, lesson 13, is going to be some more. So don't worry if you feel like you missed a few things and you need some more practice, because tomorrow is the same learning goal with a few different measurements that we're going to be talking about. So we'll get some extra practice with those tape diagrams and being able to find out how to convert those into some smaller units. So what I want you to go ahead and now do is go ahead and grab, keep on that computer with Zern for about 20 to 30 minutes to be able to get in some more learning and some of your fluency and those types of things. But until tomorrow or until lesson 13, I will see you soon. Have a great day.